seen any companies that are doing similar things or that are very different, or any companies that we want to make sure that, because Danny mentioned, and I'm glad that he did, is that the meta stuff's totally different. Now I may not have realized that. So is there anything that's like super different that we need to understand is different, or super similar? Is there anything off the top of your head?
Yeah, absolutely. There's hardly anything. I really haven't seen anything out there that approaches it in the crypto world like DirtiCoin does. What I see typically in crypto real estate ventures, and let me put to one side the ones who are talking about using crypto to buy real estate. That's a whole different thing. That's kind of like saying I want to use Swiss francs instead of US dollars
Right.
to buy real estate. Okay, it's now I want to use Bitcoin to buy real estate. That's a different matter. That's really talking about just facilitating a transaction using a specific currency.
Okay.
And that's not really where DirtiCoin is headed. What the current state of the industry in terms of crypto and real estate really focuses on primarily is what in the finance business we refer to as real estate syndications or fractional ownership. And the notion is that apologize, I'm going to go on a little bit here.
No, you're fine. Yeah.
But let's say you and I are both real estate investors, and we want to buy this big apartment complex, this high-rise apartment complex, and it costs $100 million. And maybe you've got $10 million and I've got $10 million, but we don't have $100 million between us. And so what we do is we syndicate this, and we go out and we look for other people, and we say, Danny, we know you've got $10 million. We'll give you 10% of this thing if you'll kick in your $10 million. And then we go and get Bobby and Joey and Susie and Sally. And sometimes Bobby and Susie and Sally are companies or banks and things like that.
We got a lot of rich friends, Tom. All our friends.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I don't know if Anthony and Danny, I don't know if either of you got 10 million. I don't have 10 million in the bank for me. So
pocket change.
I'm telling a story here about syndication, and you're messing up my groove, man. So the point is that these syndications, what they do in the real world is it's all this big agreement, and everybody has their share of it, and they get a share of the tax benefits and the revenues and yada yada yada. And in the crypto world, what they're doing is they're selling those fractional ownership shares, and they're giving you a token for it, a non-fungible token, an NFT. And what that represents supposedly is that you own some portion of this specific real estate investment. And they do it that way because with an NFT, they can lower that threshold to entry. So as I said, I'm talking to you about 10 million. No, instead of talking to 10 people who have $10 million each, I'm talking to, a million people who have $1 each.
Okay.
And so they each pay $1 for their NFT, and now I've got $1 million in the kitty, and I go buy that high-rise apartment building. And that's what happens with these NFTs. Now, the problem, one of the key problems with these NFTs is there is no government anywhere yet that recognizes an NFT as a valid ownership interest.
Okay,
so
interesting.
So in contrast with that loan syndication, the law recognizes the valid ownership interests there. But when you do it with an NFT, there's nobody yet who recognizes it. So I don't think there's any ill intent on the part of these real estate syndicators who are using NFTs. The unfortunate reality is that they are selling snake oil to a degree because the law doesn't recognize that ownership. Now, if they operate it all ethically, it'll be run just exactly the same way these other syndications are. So that's what's the state of most crypto real estate. Now, on the other end of crypto real estate is you have people who are doing crowdfunding, and they're going out and again they're getting the million people to kick in $1, and so they're buying $1 million property, and they're just not using a crypto token to do it. They're basically syndicating housing purchases. And the problem that DirtiCoin resolves with these is that all of those are tied to a specific property, and that's why they're non-fungible. It's if I give you the opportunity to invest. Let me put it this way. I give each of you guys the opportunity to invest in 1 acre of land, okay? And I say I'll sell you this 1 acre of land for a certain price. Um, if I tell Danny I'll sell you an acre of land for $1,000, and I tell Anthony I'll sell you an acre of land for $100 million, I can actually do that because the acre of land that's $100 million, and that's probably a cheap estimate, is on Manhattan Island.
Ooh,
Whereas the 1 acre of land, yeah, the 1 acre of land that's $1,000, that may be out in the middle of Timbuktu, Montana, where I'm from, and so, you know, they're just not comparable. You can't exchange. If Danny bought that $1,000 acre of land, he can't just trade it for your 1 acre of land in Manhattan. That's
right.
not a comparable trade. They're not fungible. They
Right.
can't be exchanged equally. And so all of these crypto real estate efforts, I think they're utterly well intentioned, um, but they're still not fungible. Some of them are trying to combat that by, investing it in a pool of specific real estate things, 4 or 5 or something like that, and you can
Trying to
trade
keep
them
them
around
similar.
back and forth. Yeah, but even then, you're operating within a very closed and small ecosystem. So the problem you come in is if you have this NFT in this collection of 5 buildings, you can't just trade that straight across to somebody else for some other investment they've got in some other real estate. In contrast with DirtiCoin, there's no connection between the coin that you own and any specific piece of real estate. So if you want to take your DirtiCoin, your 10 did, and exchange it to someone else for you know I don't know, it's a functional equivalent. If you want to take your $100 bill and exchange it with someone else for 10 tens, it's the same thing. That's fungible. You can
Right.
transfer them back and forth. And did are going to be working that way, that they're actually entirely fungible because they're not hooked into this specific piece of real estate.
As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like and comment and smash that subscribe button for us. We want to grow this channel as big as we can.